It's par for the corpse. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Legitimately good tagline.
Yeah, the
I'm gonna
tagline
A
give you
rules.
plus.
that. I think there's one singular thing in this movie that gave it a solid star for me, and
It's that tagline.
other than that, the tagline's the best thing about it.
I like.
Honestly, I'm subtracting 2.5 stars because they didn't kill John Rocker.
This is episode 244 of I Do Suffer. My name is Kip Winger, #1 fan.
I have nothing. The Greenskeeper? I don't know.
Wow.
I was gonna make a Ted Nugent joke, but I remembered that's from a different movie I watched the other day, and there wasn't any Ted Nugent music in this, so
Katie, you can
I
be,
gave up.
you could be the character sympathetic guy in this movie.
Yeah, that's me. That's definitely me.
Oh, we should have done Chad and Champ.
This is a chip in here too.
Chat. It's like, wasn't it like Chaz, Chet, Champ?
Yeah, and it is a
something like
chip.
that.
Rosa 1, Rosa 2. What? And then the Milkman.
We
The Milkman, if you will.
were talking about 2002's The Greenskeeper, a movie I did not enjoy, but I
No.
also absolutely see why someone would enjoy. I think if I had watched this like in a better headspace, I would have enjoyed it more. Because it was fine, but I had a hard time watching it last night.
I think it would have. So this came out in 2002. I think it's an of the time movie. Like, I think if maybe, as we've spoken about many times, the early aughts of 2000, humor was a little different. And I feel like it would have been funny because it's like very obviously it's not a serious, like, it's not a serious movie, right? It's like a quote unquote slasher, but it's like very much parody.
Very
it's like
self-aware.
joking. Yeah. There's also times when like the main character, Alan, looks right into the camera, and I absolutely hated it.
Staring right
I
into
was
your
like,
soul.
sir, please stop. Literally with his beady eyes, stop. I know you're in Dead Poet Society, but that can only take you so far. You know what I'm saying?
I think I wasn't expecting it to be like a slasher spoof. And so, like, I mean, like, like, when Kit picked this, we talked about how it's like the other golf course sort of like horror movie with Blades. And like, the thing Blades does well is it like, it's blatantly a spoof of Jaws, but it takes it seriously. Mm-hmm. Where this was just like a straight up trying to be like a comedy with, I felt like, jokes that didn't really work.
Yeah,
like,
very random.
It felt a little too like I could have seen Trauma distributing this easily. And like, I think it didn't straddle that line that it, like this one, as opposed to Blades, where Blades was a spoof that took the idea seriously. I felt like this one sort of was like too split down the middle of trying to be goofy and trying to also be scary, which like doesn't ever really work for me. And I think that's what my problem was with it, where I think if they would have went straight comedy with it, with some like goof, like a, straight comedy without trying to have like actual scary deaths in it. Yeah. And then, or like vice versa, where they took it as like this really stupid idea and turned it into like a straight up horror movie, I would have liked that more, but
that's like what I assumed this was going to be, because like the overall plot of it is not scary or serious at all, even though it's like...
Disagree. If I was the greenskeeper of a golf course, that would be the scariest thing imaginable.
Fair. specifically a country club, because you know what kind of chats
absolute
are there.
Fucking nightmare.
But yeah, I agree.
What you do while you're out, like keeping stuff pruned and all that, is you carry an air horn like a jackass, and you just air horn every time somebody goes to swing until they throw a golf club at you.
Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, I think this was just there's also like a large this movie wasn't very long. It was only like an hour
it's like
or something.
80-something minutes.
But there's like a large portion in the middle where we're at the quote unquote party part of the movie that just made absolutely no sense. It's like, it was so long. The party was like 5 people, and like, I don't know. It just was like very strange to me. So like, there were some things that I could see like a younger version of myself thinking were funny, and but it just did not work for me. I didn't enjoy it at all. So here we are.
It's fine for what it is. It's just like, I don't know, I guess it's more like not what I was expecting it to be. And then just
there's also nobody got lawnmowered.
Somebody I got
I mean, like, technically
I have about 1,000 questions easily about the guy that gets his dick in the ball washing thing.
Okay.
I didn't scene.
So that happened in shadow, and I could not. I was hoping that somebody would be able to explain to me what happened, but I literally did not know what was happening.
Oh, it makes no sense at all if you've ever actually seen or used one of those things.
Yeah, and anyway, okay.
I fucking adore that it carried on for like a solid minute and a half, and it did the like musical sting every single time he had his like dick shoved in it. I was
like
howling.
10 minutes.
I was
like,
having a great time.
I bet. Well.
So accusatory.
Katie's just like, yeah, I'm sure you did, you dick.
I sure bet you did. All right, let's just get started here. I was trying to think of a golf pun, but I don't know anything about golf, so
par for the course.
Yeah, great.
Let's
tagline.
golf.
I stick by the tagline being probably the "Let's golf," being the best thing about this movie. So, except for one singular thing that was so ridiculous and made no sense, I absolutely loved it.
I gotta say, I 100% would have rather seen The Milkman. That movie looked very good.
I don't know. I don't know about the
looked like a banger.
Either, to be honest with you.
I feel like everybody who ever. Like, if you're making a movie where there is a fake movie inside that movie, you should be forced to film that movie as well and put it on the DVD as an extra.
Like, at least like a 20-minute thing.
Because I always feel like I want to see that more than whatever it is that I'm actually watching.
I think I personally saw enough of the Milkman in this, but
Disagree.
I agree.
More killers that spill milk on boobs.
Ew, and that, you know what, and that's gross too, because I'm assuming it was cow milk and disgusting, or goat, I guess, could be.
What if it's breast milk and it's just redundant?
I was gonna say could be human. I don't know.
Pig milk.
Kid milk.
Pig.
Yeah, it's pig.
I cannot.
Jackass. Just more references to Jackass.
Oh, okay. All right. Gross, probably. All right. So. This movie starts with our main character, whose name is Alan.
That's a good name.
Alan. I don't think so. I'm just kidding. I don't have anything against anyone named Alan.
I do.
I just
Fuck you.
didn't...
Your name's Alan. Don't listen to us.
Get out of here.
Alan wakes up in bed because he hears whispering. And he sits up. And there's just a guy in his doorway staring at him, which is terrifying if you ask me.
The scariest thing in this movie.
And he is dressed in what I assume is a greenskeeper costume, which essentially is like what a beekeeper wears, but it's green instead.
Amazing.
So There it is. So then Alan gets out of bed to follow the man out his bedroom door. But then when he opens the door, it is like a weird women's golf music video happening.
To me, this was it really set the tone for this film, and I was along for the ride after this.
Me too, but the opposite. I was like, oh no. So it's just like a bunch of women wearing like white button-up shirts and like plaid skirts, but they're like standing in a row, and he's like frolicking through them, and it's like very strange. And then a woman gets her throat sliced open with like hedge clippers, and he screams and wakes up, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? But then his alarm's blaring, so he turns off the alarm, and then the greenskeeper sets up next to him in slow-mo.
Terrifying.
And then he wakes up again. Great. Then there is a black and white shot that's also in slow motion of the groundskeeper throwing, I wrote an axe or something. This is literally a scene from later in the movie that is just shears again. He's like throwing it like a throwing axe kind of situation.
Very normal and chill.
Yeah, and then there's upbeat music. I wrote upbeat music myself. It was very like Sugar Ray-esque, but then the subtitles said upbeat music, and I was like, I'm here with you. It is upbeat music.
The score to this movie is fucking baffling to me.
Yeah, I don't...
Like, I know it's Kip Winger, and it makes no sense altogether, and it's just like the strangest... Like, it all just sounds like stock music.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Like the rock.
That's Winger, all right.
The fake like rock music is the same person too.
There's like, I think they're like in the credits of it. There was like 2 songs that were like credited to anybody outside of Kip Winger, like just 2 songs they used, and everything else was like just his bullshit.
Like they play like this like Sugar Ray song, and then later they play this other like really edgy song when they're like having the party, and I was like, this sounds
it would have been sick
interesting.
If he just stole Sugar Ray songs and just replaced stuff in it with the word golf.
He should have. So upbeat Sugar Ray plays over shots of a country club situation. There's like a pool, and there's like people playing cards, people golfing, as you do at a country club, I would imagine. And then there's also like this like sitcom style situation where it's like showing the characters from the movie and then showing like, this is like the credit and entering credit scene, and it's like showing their like real names, but it's like, I don't know. One of them includes a guy who drinks bong water, which is something. There's surprisingly so much like weed jokes and in situations happening, which I also was not expecting for a 2002 slasher movie. I don't know why, but anyways, this like opening
comedy in the early 2000s apparently.
Like, to be fair, obviously I wasn't really into the comedies, so anyways, this like opening scene goes on for fucking ever. And so then we meet Mary Catherine, who is Alan's girlfriend, and she's essentially just like giving him the business. Yeah, she's basically telling him that he needs to get his shit together. And she's just like complaining about him. And so this is kind of just like setting up his character, where he is a screenwriter, and he's not doing too good screenwriting. He sold his car to take a visit to Jim Morrison's grave.
Terrible.
For inspiration. Mistake. And it didn't seem to work, I guess, apparently. And so now he is the assistant greenskeeper at a country club that his stepdad owns.
Crushing it. Doing great.
Say, that seems pretty good.
I mean, whatever. Do your thing, write your little plays, you know?
I feel like he probably should be making a good amount of money.
At a country club, I would think so, but I don't know. So then she basically is just like a bitch to him and leaves. And he goes out and it's his birthday for some reason. And he talks to his roommate. Well, like, his birthday is kind of like a big play into this movie, but like feels very random to me.
People can be born on any day, Katie.
Disagree. I think there's only a 5-month span people are allowed to be born.
Yeah, I think pretty much.
It's a very narrow window.
I don't know anybody's birthday who is in June. For starters.
I'm sure I do if I remembered anyone's birthdays except for like 5 people.
If you're listening and I should know that your birthday's in June, just kidding. Pretend like you didn't hear me say that. Okay, so it's Alan's birthday. He goes out and he talks to his roommate about how he's been having nightmares about his dad. And I was confused about this at this point because, like, listen, I understand that someone can die and then you grow up and you have dreams about them the way that they looked, but I feel like this guy's dad looked younger than him. So the whole situation was really confusing because we don't know anything about what happened to him, right? At this point. Very confused.
Spoiler, you get to the end, his dad's there. And I was convinced that it was just him and like that whatever that burn makeup is, like it was just Alan.
No.
So, like, for, like, the first time they showed him, I was like, is Alan playing his own dad? Because his dad looks too young to be a dad.
He looks
or, like, to
very
be his
young.
Dad.
Yeah. Especially because the stepdad is, like, he's like, older, right? He's got, like, fully gray hair, and he, like, looks like easily 20 years older than, which that can totally be a thing, but everybody's age here to me just makes no sense. Anyway.
So John Rocker was 28 when this movie came out, so he probably was younger than the main dude.
Incredible.
Amazing. I just was like so confused about the timeline here. Okay.
They had to capitalize on John Rocker's fame.
Who the fuck
because he
John
stopped
Rocker?
playing base.
Oh, he was a baseball player.
Yeah, so he was a relief pitcher, and he's a real piece of shit. And it seemed like every year he got in trouble for saying something homophobic
that's right. I know who this
talking
is.
Talking about sitting next to someone with AIDS on the subway and just like all kinds of horrible shit. So he only played baseball for a few years there before everyone got tired of fucking dealing with him.
Woof.
Nice.
It makes sense why he doesn't really talk in this movie. He just stares.
Yes.
Did either of you look like, I know Katie's mentioned Dead Poet Society earlier, but like almost everyone in this movie has like at least 1 or 2 big credits to their name besides this movie, and it's very strange. There's like
main dude was in Thinner, right?
No, the Alan character.
Yeah.
If he is, he's not listed on Letterboxd, but he's got Dead Poet Society, 12 Monkeys, Fallen, Mannequin 2.
Mannequin 2.
Ron Lester, Not Another Teen Movie, Good Burger, Varsity Blues.
He was also in Karate Dog.
I was going to say the absolute masterpiece, Karate Dog. Like, a bunch of people in this have, like, this guy was in My Cousin Vinny. Somebody was in Teen Wolf, the movie, the remake movie.
She was also in Cheerleader Nightmare, which is a banger.
Road Trip, Beer Pong. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. What are the Road Trip sequels? Yeah. Jesus.
Somebody was in, like, one of the recent Jumanji movies with The Rock. I mean, I can't imagine any of these people have, like, big roles in those movies, but, like, it was interesting because, like, usually we'll pick a movie like this and it's just, like, every actor in it has, like, just this as their credit.
Yeah, the Otis, who is the, like, head groundskeeper, I think you said was in My Cousin Vinny, and he was in A Time to Kill that had, like, Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, like, a ton of, like, big people, so very weird.
Did
Very
not
weird movie to be in for all these
realize
people.
3 people directed this movie.
Me neither.
It checks out.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Alan's having nightmares about his dad, and he thinks that his dad is trying to tell him something, like kind of like a premonition. And his friend, whose name is Styles, who is the one that drank the bong water in the opening, immediately jumps to thinking that aliens are coming or something. I don't know. Then Styles gives Alan a ride to work. They keep doing this like weird thing where they're like showing one of his code workers, whose name is Elena, like in slow motion with like wind blowing on her or something. So like he has a crush on her, I guess. Then he also just like randomly throughout this movie gets flashbacks of something that we're not actually ever told he's seen. So he's like getting flashbacks of things that happened in the past that he shouldn't have memories of, which is weird. So this first one is that he has a vision of somebody really crusty and gross and dead looking, like laying in the water, and then they open their eyes like and he just like whatever. He goes into like his like little maintenance shed, and there's a jump scare of the actual Greenskeeper, whose name is Otis. Like sneaking up behind him, grabbing him, and then he gives him a huge joint.
That he smells first because you have to.
You gotta, yeah. Then there's like this scene of Mary Catherine and her friends, who are all terrible, at the pool, and they're talking about how they were going to throw a party, but the girl's parents, who they were going to have the party, like her house at, her parents aren't going away anymore because there was some kind of like guerrilla warfare going on the island, so they can't go on vacation anymore.
Bummer.
Yeah, hate when that happens. So then they decide that they want to have the party at the country club after hours, and they're going to get Mary Catherine to talk Alan into letting them do it because, like, you know, they're dating or whatever. Then there's this part. Some of the dialogue I did find actually like funny. There's this guy who like works at the country club that's like sitting by the kids talking. They're not kids. They're, you know, whatever. They're at a country club. But he just like steps up and he's like, I've been intentionally overhearing what you've been saying. And it just was like funny. That to me was funny. Because there's always somebody that's like, oh no, you don't want to do that. But he just was literally like, I've been eavesdropping on purpose. And he said, yeah, like you can't like come to the country club after hours. Like, haven't you heard the story? And apparently, yes, everybody has heard the story, because now all of the kids take turn telling us what the story is, which is that the previous groundskeeper got badly burned in a gardening accident of some sort. And now he lives in a shed in the woods, and he swore to kill everybody at the country club as revenge.
Same.
Like, big mood.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Then they also tell a story about how 15 years ago, Old Man Rivers got killed by the groundskeeper because he was really bad at golf and he hit his ball deep into the woods. And when he found the shack, he went inside and there was a sack with a human head in there. And then he got decapitated. So yeah, that's the story. So Otis and Alan argue about whether or not girls shit or not.
Did they ever get to a conclusion? That's what this movie should have been about.
Well, I'm sorry. Specifically, it's hot girls. And if you know anything about hot girls, they all have IBS. So you should just know that they do. Otis has a book about how to communicate with the dead, which, like, I understand they're obviously like trying to make Otis seem like a Shining type character, but they don't go anywhere else with it. Because he's just like, oh, there's this book here to communicate with the dead. Like, do you think it works? Like, I've been thinking about trying to contact my dad. Then they get interrupted by the stepdad. And, like, never ever bring this up again. So I don't know if that was on purpose or like what's going on with that there. But the stepdad basically interrupts them and is like, get back to work. Like, what are you guys working on? And then he reminds Alan that he is supposed to be having a birthday dinner with him and his mom. Then there is a groundskeeping montage to upbeat music. Then there is a scene with Chaz, Chet, and Champ discussing whether Bert and Ernie are gay or not. You know.
There's a lot of heady topics in this movie.
Yeah.
We're saying it.
Yeah.
They're getting to the real problems in society, trying to figure out
if
why
men wear turtlenecks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tied the hickeys.
I did cackle whenever he's like, they're felt. They can't get hickeys.
And then he's just like, why is he always eating cookies in his bed? And I was like, asking the real questions here. Very stupid.
Classic Champ, Chaz.
You know, whatever. Yeah.
I refuse to acknowledge anybody's named Chaz other than Chaz from Airheads. So this person does not exist to me.
They're just talking to air.
Yeah.
There's an empty seat there with a
no. It's just Brendan. I just Photoshop in my mind Brendan Fraser over him.
You could probably do that with most anybody, to be honest.
Probably make most movies better.
I agree. Throw in Keanu sometimes, you know.
I don't know.
So
Keanu would shit himself if somebody ever fired a gun at him because he's just an actor.
Yeah, he's selling violence. Okay.
It's the fucking worst tweet I've ever seen.
Fucking so stupid.
I think maybe wholesome. So, okay.
Keanu Reeves could never actually drive a bus that had to stay over a certain mile per hour.
You think he's ever fought Dennis Hopper?
Yeah.
No way.
Keanu Reeves would shit himself if he ever had to fire a gun in the air a bunch of times on a beach. Act with.
I think people would pay to see that.
Yeah, I would. Did you forget where you were at?
Okay, so now there's a bunch of weird camera angle shots of some guy golfing. Like one of them is just like on his butt crack for some reason. I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but he basically hits his ball weird and has to go after it. The groundskeeper shows up and kills him off screen with a golf club. Ew, let me see it. Alan finds Otis and he's got some blood splatter on him and he's just like, oh, I just cut my finger. Normal groundskeeper stuff, you know.
I hated the fucking like weird misdirect
because it wasn't even good.
Yeah, they don't like they do it like twice and then just like give up on it.
Yeah, very bad. This was like the laziest version of a Scream type ripoff ever, of a type ripoff.
Yeah.
So then, the cop character, who I don't have any words for this. But basically the stepdad and the cop are like find the golfer's dead body, and the stepdad essentially decides that he's going to keep it a secret because he doesn't want to like scare people off, or I guess, or whatever. Then he's like driving his golf cart around and he sees what he thinks is the groundskeeper killing somebody, and he runs up behind him and grabs him. But then it turns out just to be Alan beating a hornet's nest.
Yeah, smart.
Absolutely.
As you do.
It's the only way to get rid of it.
Why wouldn't you?
And then he's like, oh, leave it. Hornets never hurt anybody. And I was like, what is happening with this?
You gotta get their honey.
Then he's just like, why don't you, it's your birthday. Why don't you go ahead and take off and get ready for dinner? So at dinner, we meet Alan's mother, who is just an absolute peach.
Everyone in this movie is the fucking
terrible.
Worst.
I also love that she's holding a glass of what is supposed to be whiskey, and she's like, I told the bartender 2 fingers, and this is barely 3 fingers. It was like an entire glass full of whiskey.
I was gonna say, wasn't that like a fucking at least like 3/4
It was like
full?
A fistful. Yeah, it was huge, and she's just like, Somebody has to make a comment about any like hot topic, like, oh.
Sure.
About any like hot topic issue, because she's like, we pay these people minimum wage. You think they would work hard to earn it? And I was like, oh my god, why is this happening? So, anyways,
social commentary of the Greenskeeper.
Yeah, literally, yes. So, she's terrible, and then she's about to tell him that she's like, I have something to tell you, and I want to tell you before your dad gets here, stepdad. And she starts to tell him that because he's turning 25, he's going to inherit. Inherent. Why does it sound so weird?
It's inherent.
Inherent.
There's no N.
Inherent.
I guess there is one N.
His inheritance.
You pick whichever N you want to keep.
That's how spelling works, right? Mm-hmm. He is basically going to take over the country club, but before she can finish, the stepdad interrupts again, and then is like, "Here's your birthday gift. It's a thesaurus." Thesaurus.
That's a good gift for a screenwriter.
Yeah, for him to write his little stories. He says.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then we find out that his stepdad is actually his uncle. Cool. That's why I'm so confused.
Oh my god, I forgot that. I forgot about that.
The uncle and the mom are like much older, and okay, actually, I guess they do say that the groundskeeper. I called him the dad's keeper once he shows up. The dad's keeper died like 15-ish years ago, so I guess. I don't know. I don't think the math works, but whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, especially because
we find out
the dead dad would have been like 12, 15 years ago.
And he's 25. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, but I don't know if maybe it's not supposed to. Anyways, Uncle Stepdad's here.
Yeah, I think we're putting too much thought into the Greenskeeper.
Right. Well, okay, so my problem when we do movies like this is that I can't tell if it's just like if the stuff like that is done on purpose because it's like supposed to be a joke, or if they just are like, what, like don't care.
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah, they're like whatever.
What's happening?
I forgot where I was. Oh,
so we were at the reveal of the dad,
his
being
mom,
the killer.
His mom.
Oh, we're way back. Damn it, we're not there yet.
No. Okay. So then, his mom is like holding the entire glass of whiskey, and the color of the whiskey reminds Alan of the murky water that his dead crispy dad was found in. Which again, as I said, Alan. Yes. Also, Alan did not witness this, so I don't understand where he's getting visions from. Unless he's okay, because then he's like, my dad's trying to tell me something. He's sending a premonition, as if his dad is a ghost, giving him the vision.
My problem is,
and his dad's not dead.
Like, yeah, but he thinks he is. But like,
okay, so that's why I'm like, what's going on with him?
Like, if that's an issue for you, you work on a golf course. Golf course water is gross and murky. Like, you would be having this every fucking time you went to work.
I mean, yeah.
Let alone apparently seeing any whiskey.
So then he's having this flashback, and he starts out of it, and he throws his glass of water on his girlfriend, and she's like, oh my god, you stupid idiot. Excuse me, I have to go get the stain out. And I was like, it was water, but go off. Mary Catherine goes to the bathroom to get the water stain off of her dress, and so Alan goes and like stands outside the bathroom for some reason. It's just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw my drink on you or whatever. And she's just like, you're fucking stupid and ugly, and I hate you, and you're the dumbest person in the whole world. And so like he's just sitting there like, I know, I'm sorry. And then Elena, who is like a waitress, comes and basically is just like, she's really mean to you. Like, that's not cool. And then Alan and Elena stand there and flirt or whatever. So they go back to the table. The stepdad is taking the mom home because she's drank an entire bottle of whiskey by herself.
All 2 fingers of the whole bottle.
Yeah. She has a very stunning purple, like, swishy tracksuit on, though, that I really liked. So she's got fashion on her side, at least. Mary Catherine then asks Alan about having the party at the country club, and then she's just like, oh, yeah, well, like, it can be your birthday party. And so he's like, okay, fine, let's do it. Then he also invites Elena and her sisters. And then he goes to talk to Otis that he's leaving for the day, and Otis gives him a bike, which is really nice of him.
Yeah, again, Otis is a good character in this movie.
I mean, honestly. So, because also, like, Mary Catherine didn't even before the dinner seem to realize that it was Alan's birthday. So, that night, Alan is riding his bike home from the country club, and the cop pulls him over. I don't really understand, like, what the scene is about, really, because, like, essentially they're just, like, standing there talking, and then Alan is just like, I know that you're corrupt. Let's just keep it our little secret. And he rides away on his bike, and I was like, okay.
Everything with the cop is the worst.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's jokes about how he's gay.
Yeah. Not great. Like, just like a very, like, mean stereotypical character, which I just will breeze right over. But this whole interaction makes no sense. I don't know why it's happening. Then Alan goes home to watch a movie called The Milkman with his roommates.
Banger movie.
And he kind of, like, analyzes it, like, oh yeah, blah, there's gore and boobs and this, that, and the other thing, but where's the art?
Yeah, they do, like, they put in a lot of work to try to make it sound like this guy has any idea what he's talking about when it comes to, like, making movies, because he went to Jim Morrison's grave. He's a screenwriter, okay?
Yeah, he's a screenwriter.
It was really funny at the start whenever his girlfriend was like, yeah, I've got a story for you, like, I get tired of my shitty boyfriend and go find someone who actually has a car, this, that, whatever. How's that for a story? And he's like, it's missing a second act.
It's kind of second act. I love that she specifically was like a rich guy with a DeLorean. And I was like,
I mean, who doesn't want that? I still want that.
Fair. I know. That's what I'm saying. I feel like
if you're a rich guy with a DeLorean, hit me up.
Wasn't there like 5 DeLoreans in existence or something at the time? Like, the pool is not big to choose from.
Yeah, they didn't make very many to start out with, and then they blew them up in Back to the Future or something.
Yeah. Fewer and fewer
they
every day.
Turned one into a train.
They, anything for cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically, like, analyzes it, and he's just like, this is stupid. I'm gonna go get ready for the party. And so then there's, like, a montage of people making phone calls and getting ready for the party. And again, this party is literally just, like, the same, like, 5 people. And then a couple people that work at the country club. And I was like, what was the
hell
point
of a party?
Of this? So then there is shots of... Oh, okay. So I was like, the girlfriend? It says GK for groundskeeper. Then there's shots of the groundskeeper, like, also getting ready, but his version is, like, putting on his suit and sharpening his shears and whatnot. But I wrote at this point to cool music, so whatever was happening here, it was cool. Cool music. Not Sugar Ray. Cool.
Sugar Ray's cool.
So...
Yeah, sure is real cool. Have you seen his hair?
Yes, I have. The group is, like, standing there waiting for Alan to show up, and he rides up from the darkness on his bicycle, and then he unlocks the gate, and they're like, woo! And then the 4 of them do pool stuff to some kind of, like, edgy music on the radio.
What is pool stuff?
Yeah. like slow-mo cannonballs. They played chicken, pool stuff.
Yeah.
Snorted some drugs, pool stuff. Elena shows up, and Alan is just like sitting there off by himself to the side or whatever, and then he gets up to like say hi to Elena, and then the two one of the C's, Chaz, Champ, Checkers, somebody pushes him into the pool with like his whole clothes on. He's embarrassed or whatever. Then some random people drive into the country club to play tennis, and I was like, what is going on with these people? Why did they show up? I have no idea. It's very weird. This whole middle pool party section made absolutely no sense to me. Alan has a vision of his dead dad again. Then Alan apologizes to Mary Catherine about getting in the fight that morning, but she's still kind of a bitch to him about it. And so then he decides that he's going to like try and break up with her, but she freaks out on him, and that he just doesn't break up with her. So there you go. Then Mary Catherine tells Alan that Elena and Stu, who is a weird lifeguard, have like hooked up, and it was a big scandal and everything. And when Alan finds that out, he gets mad and he goes, "You people suck."
I forgot.
And he leaves.
Like, I think the one thing that made me laugh in this is at the very beginning when you're kind of getting like sort of like a montage of people at like the country club. You get the lifeguard screaming at a little kid that he's not allowed to swim.
Oh, yeah.
The end.
Meanwhile,
it ends with him storming off. It's the end of the movie.
It should have been, actually. So meanwhile, the groundskeeper is putting nails and screws into the ball machine, like when you it shoots out tennis balls that you can like hit back or whatever. There's probably a lot of kinds of ball machines. This
guy. He didn't even have it set like high enough so the ball was bouncing like 4 times before it got to him. Fucking scrub. Get out of here.
This is Kit's critique of the movie. He's mad about the ball machine.
I used to play tennis. This is my one thing to get upset about.
So yeah, there's just like some guy playing tennis, and eventually one of the nails shoots out and hits him right between the eyes. Not bad looking.
I like the gore in this film.
Yeah, all the deaths are like at least relatively like fun, I guess. Like they do like a okay job with like some goofy deaths. I just feel like they just don't balance like I said earlier, like the sort of like that aspect of it and the comedy well enough for me. I think I needed it to lean more heavily into like cool deaths and less Bert and Ernie.
Yeah, and I think because also like we were saying, the jokes are like weed or like talking about making like gay jokes and stuff like that. So it's like not even like good humor, so to speak. But yeah, he gets the nail between the eyes. He's dead. And we also get kind of like nail vision because the camera is like and like shoots along with the nail or whatever. So
amazing.
More movies should have nail vision.
Yeah. And the girl that came there with him is like going to the bathroom. She like takes her shirt off to go to the bathroom. And I was like, what is going on here? And then the groundskeeper pulls her out from underneath the bathroom stall and then picks her up and like puts her on one of those like hooks that's on the back of the bathroom door, and it like comes out through her chest. Fine, I guess.
Katie, did you know there are adult men who like will pull their pants all the way down to go pee in like a public restroom?
Yeah.
I don't know why it made me think of it, and I was like, I wonder if Katie knows this, because it's fucking weird. I used to see it all the time at Kohl's for some reason. Like multiple men would do that.
Do they like lift their shirt up too, just for extra?
Yeah, sometimes.
Tuck it under their chin.
It's very weird.
Well, going to the bathroom is your own experience, I guess. That grosses me out, though. You know what? I am like, I'm not like a germaphobe, but kind of I am for like public places. And it grosses me out even if I see people like set their like backpacks or purses on the bathroom floor, and grosses me out so much.
I went into the restroom at work, I don't know, like a month ago, and somebody was in like one of the stalls taking a shit and had their phone propped on the ground watching like a TV show.
No!
And I was like, come on.
Because like, not only do you have just like the daily like touching stuff, like people who go to the bathroom who don't wash their hands ever, and then they like touch their stuff or they touch food or they're touching whatever, right? You also have like everything that's on the ground that that's like
shoes and
like bird poop, mouse, all variations of poop, any kind of poop. Then you have like gasoline, and you have like someone threw their egg sandwich out the window and you step in it, and then they're stepping it. Like, it's just
very, very
I
specific,
will literally my mind.
Katie's had a very, very specific experience with the egg sandwich.
When I start thinking about how disgusting public places are, it's like, imagine falling down. Imagine your Ant-Man falling through the quantum realm. Like, that's my mind thinking about all the disgusting things that I could be touching.
Sandwiches on the ground.
Yeah, and so it's just it's gross. Anyway, I don't know what
people are.
Why
gross.
did that happen?
It's all people are.
Wash your hands, okay? And not just because of COVID. Still, you should be washing your hands. Just like wash your hands all the time. You know what I mean? Anyway.
But also take all your clothes off to go into a public restroom.
Yeah, definitely take all your clothes off.
Only do that if you're going to wash your ass.
If I ever go into like a restroom at work and somebody's just like crouched up onto the sink, like washing their ass, I'm just fucking kidding.
It has happened. I have seen it.
I believe
it is not great.
Ew.
Yeah, dude shit his pants, so he's trying to scrub his ass in the sink at work.
Sir, you need to
go home.
Home.
Come on, man. Like,
I am unwell. Yeah, because so what? Sorry, I just was playing Pokemon Go and I got a shiny.
The fuck's a shiny?
It's basically like the normal, like you catch a Pokemon, a specific Pokemon is all the same color, but then they have shiny variants. And so if you get a shiny, it's like the Pokemon, but it's like a different color variation, and they're like pretty rare.
Sounds like a scam to me.
Sure. Why the bathroom? Anyway,
somebody took their shirt off to go to the bathroom is where we were at.
Yeah, we're done with it.
I might have more to say about it later.
Okay. Well, let me know. So, now there's someone yelling outside.
Hey, same here. It's yell o'clock.
It is yell o'clock. Happened. Okay, so she's dead. So now we're back at the pool party, and the lifeguard wants to play Marco Polo. So one of the girls takes her bathing suit top off to use as a blindfold for him, and he gets into the water and he's yelling Marco, and nobody's poloing, which is just rude. And they leave the area completely. And then the groundskeeper pops up out of the water behind Stu, and I thought drowns him, but what actually happens is that he chokes him with his whistle.
I gotta say, he's able to sneak into that water pretty silently.
Yeah.
It's
and also
very concerning to me. Now I'm scared of greenskeepers.
Listen, you have to worry about Dead Man's Float, red skeleton, and greenskeepers in your pool, and sharks,
just sharks
and
and
alligators.
For me.
Like you don't know what could be down there. Could be an alligator.
Yeah, don't have pools.
Yeah, fair, very fair. Meanwhile, Elena is looking for Alan, and she's just walking around calling for him. So now one of the Chad Michael Murrays and the girlfriend are going off into the darkness to have sex. And afterwards, he is like, I have to pee. And the greenskeeper appears to me reaches out and snatches him right by his peen. And this is where I said I have no idea what's going on, but he dies. I guess he gets put into a ball cleaner. It was confusing to me because it looked like he lifted him up onto something. Oh, it's his balls. Okay, I get it. All right, I get it.
It's weird because he's carrying him sort of by the waist, like lifted up. And if you've ever seen one of those ball cleaners, it's essentially just like a tube or whatever. It's not like there's like the way he puts him on it, it makes it seem like he puts him like ass first onto like the ball cleaner, but then he starts like breaking his dick and balls with it, and it just, I don't know, the physics of it does not make sense to me.
Right. That's why I was confused, because it seems like he lifted him up onto it. And that's why when he starts, like, I just was like, I don't know what's going on with this. But anyways, he dies.
Worst death in the movie, I gotta say.
Yeah, it doesn't
seem pretty terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, this scene goes on for like 10 minutes. He's, just washing away. Blood squirting out everywhere.
Seems like he's making more of a mess than he is washing anything.
Yeah. The girl that he was with sees the groundskeeper and tries to run away, but the groundskeeper rolls up in his golf cart.
Is this the scene where they're having sex and he's like, wait, don't move, and she does like the tiniest sneeze?
She sneezes, yeah.
Okay. I just remembered that.
So then, okay, so the greenskeeper is following him in the golf cart, and then he throws some shears at her, and they stick in her back, and she falls on the ground, and she like pretends to be dead, but he's not taking any second chances, because then he backs the golf cart.
She does
over her,
pretty good.
But like off screen.
I would be screaming my head off if somebody threw shears into my back.
Yeah,
yes,
she kind of
absolutely.
Just, like,
I'd be done for.
On the ground, and it's just like.
I would be like, please run me over. This sucks. Just end it.
Okay. Yeah, he runs over her off screen. Now we are back to Otis, who is watching the milkman, and he hears a noise. And he's like, what is that? Then the other couple also goes out onto the green to have sex. And while it's happening, the greenskeeper uses a thing that they use to dig holes for like the golf balls, I guess. And he just like chunks it down through both of them.
Oh, yeah.
And pulls out their meat plug, so to speak. Then he puts a flag there, Elena finds Stu dead, and then when she turns around, she runs into the groundskeeper and she like screams or whatever, and the groundskeeper takes her into the woods to the shed, and this is where she sees like all the articles about like the accident that happened, and there's like a picture of Alan that says like employee of the month or something, and just like stuff like that. And then when the groundskeeper comes in, she somehow has a phone or has taken a phone or something. She calls the police, but the police can't help because they're having some kind of dance party.
Oh my god!
Going on.
About that too. Terrible.
The cop is having like a bondage situation, and he's like, "I'm all tied up." Stupid. Grow up. And then she tries to call her sister, but her sister is also doing a sex thing. And then finally she calls Alan, and it rings and rings and rings. Finally he picks up and is like, what's going on? And she's like, help me. I'm at the club. And he is like very confused about what's happening. So then she like hides and the groundskeeper leaves and she's like, okay, maybe I'm going to be safe. And then he pops up behind her and grabs her and she bites him. And then she escapes the shed. Then she basically like stumbles across all of the people who have been killed, including Mary Catherine, who has golf tees in her head.
Yeah, isn't she like crucified sort of?
She's like pinned to a tree
got like
or
a
something.
crown of fucking golf tees.
What a terrible way to go.
Yeah, it seems terrible.
So then she sees like she finds both of the everybody dead essentially, and then she finds Otis, who is stabbed in the back with some shears, and she hides in his shed. Then the groundskeeper comes in and looks around or whatever, and she jumps out and hits him in the back with a rake. And then Alan shows up with the bat. We
spend a long time not focused on Alan for being the main character of this movie.
Yeah, and the thing that was confusing to me too, it's like very obvious, like there's moments in the movie where they're like obviously trying to make it seem like maybe he's the groundskeeper. And so that's why this part didn't make sense to me, where she's like running around looking for him and everybody's dead, but then she calls his house and he's just like sitting there writing his screenplay. I was like, what? Stupid. Anyways, Alan hits the greenskeeper with the bat, and groundskeeper falls on the ground, and this is where they take off his groundskeeper face hat thing, and it's his gross dad, and he's about to tell him something, but then Uncle Stepdad shows up and shoots him. Uncle Stepdad is like, oh, well, man. And Elena looks over and sees that he's got a bite mark on his arm. Then she has a flashback of something we just saw, which was her biting the groundskeeper. And she's like, he's the killer. Standing right next to him while he's holding a gun, she says he's the killer. And then Uncle Stepdad turns the gun on them. And this is where he says he's going to explain the story before they die. Smart. And the story is just that Uncle Stepdad was jealous. So he tried to kill the dad because he had a wife and a son and a country club. And turns out he survived, but he's all gross. And so he basically, I don't know what it just makes no sense anyways. And so like the Uncle Stepdad basically just like lost his mind when he found out that Alan was going to inherit the country club. And so he decided that he just needed to kill everybody else to make it look random and not make it look suspicious when he killed Alan, so that he could keep the country club. And basically when Elena was attacked by the groundskeeper originally, it was because he was trying to warn her and keep her safe, and he was just making a sparkly glue birthday card for Alan's birthday.
He's got to do something in between murdering people.
He's been in a shed doing arts and crafts, and I love that for him. When they like revealed the happy birthday Alan card, I almost lost it. So then, Uncle Stepdad has shot Dad's keeper, but Dad's keeper is still alive. And so he gets the rake and he hits the Stepdad in the foot with it. And he's basically going to kill him, but then the Uncle Stepdad is like, please, I was just jealous. You had everything I didn't have. Like, I'm sorry about what happened. And so Dad's keeper is going to show mercy on him, but then Uncle Stepdad stabs him in the chest with a water sprinkler. Works for some reason. And it water sprinklers blood all over the place. And this was the only part that I legitimately loved, because it was so ridiculous and stupid, but in a good way. Because it did that thing where it was like, like we all love. Nostalgic sprinkler happening here. But it's just spraying blood all over the place. And also this whole time they don't really show Alan's reaction to anything that's happening. He's just kind of like sitting with Elena, like, well, whatever. He doesn't try and help him or stop him or anything, which is pretty lame. Then Otis has been like tinkering with this lawnmower the entire movie. And Otis shows up and starts the lawnmower, and the blade flies off and decapitates Uncle's stepdad.
It rocks.
And he's dead.
Incredible cool ending.
Just the worst blood spray too after the head comes off. It's so bad. I love it.
Anytime somebody gets decapitated and they show like a really quick shot of the head rolling away, it was pretty funny. Like more of that, you know? So then Alan and Elena, even though he just discovered that his dad was alive but is now dead again, smile and kiss, and then Dad's keeper is like, I'm sorry about everybody. And then they get sprinkled with his blood and are like, ha ha ha, let's get out of here.
That was
and they leave.
So weird.
It was like a playful romp in the summer.
They stand, it happens for so long too, and they just like stand there instead of, I don't know, taking a step back.
Yeah, very weird. Then they're just like, let's get out of here. So Elena, Alan, and Otis walk into the sunset, and it is the end.
Thank God.
Yeah. Woof.
This movie should have just been an hour and 20 minutes of that dude getting his balls crushed in the ball washing machine.
Yes. The music going the entire time.
I need them to like make that scene make more sense for me, and then I'm down. I just literally had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, the physics don't make any sense.
No.
I don't know. Go watch this on Tubi if you want, I guess.
You don't have to. You could
do a double header with Blades.
Yeah, just watch Blades instead. Blades rocks.
I was gonna say
Blades is the second one.
Good?
Yeah, Blades is legitimately pretty great. Because it's like, literally Jaws, but the shark is a lawnmower.
But it's like serious.
It's goofy.
But
as serious as that can be.
It's blatantly goofy, but in like that way where they take the premise completely seriously. So like you're supposed to like I think legitimately be afraid of the lawnmower, and it rocks.
Right. Yeah.
There's a dude who's
also the lawnmower looks cool.
Yes, agreed. It made me very mad though that like on the cover it's just like one of those old school like one manual ones.
Yeah.
But then it's like a real
ones.
like, a riding lawnmower in the movie.
Yeah, I hate that.
Katie, I'm assuming you did not look up any news. I
did actually. It's not good, but I have some.
There's never anything good.
Well, the
first video games.
Finally.
That literally. That was literally my first one.
Let me guess, we're getting a Megan video game now.
I hope so.
Oh God.
The only thing that I saw that they've announced is that Blumhouse has launched a subsidiary to produce original horror games. Boo! Sounds bad.
I disagree because they have not made anything original yet.
Well, what?
Like movie-wise.
They have a shit ton of original stuff that they did with like Amazon.
Look,
it's all
I'm just
bad,
saying,
but
you could say it's an original movie, but almost all of their movies are pretty derivative of something else that's already happened.
Well, I mean,
Megan technically an original property, but it's just, Child's Play in every other movie with a fucking animatronic in it.
Yeah. They announced, I did not watch this, but I know a lot of people are fans of the series True Detective. They announced the new series is going to be called Not Country, but it's starring Jodie Foster. So I might actually watch it because I love her. Yeah. And somebody named Callie Reyes, who I'm not familiar with. So
name sounds familiar, but didn't everybody hate like the last however many seasons of True Detective?
They hated season 2 and no one watched season 3, but everyone who hated season 2 is a coward.
I haven't seen
season 2 ruled.
So I don't have an opinion, but I remember everybody I remember everyone losing their mind about season 1, and then every fucking shoegazy black metal band using some fucking sample and egg on all their albums after it came out from that season, and then never hearing anything good about a following season.
2 has Colin Farrell, and he grabs the child by the collar of his shirt and threatens to beat him and shove his Yeezys up his ass if he ever picks on his child again. It's fucking wonderful.
Does he say Yeezys in it?
Colin Farrell's insane in it.
I'm in.
I bet he does say Yeezys.
I'm never gonna watch it, but I'm in.
Yeah. March 22nd, Fathom Events is showing Godzilla Tokyo SOS in theaters for the first time.
Oh, what?
They're going to be also showing other bonus features, including Godzilla versus Gigan Rex. Gigan Rex, whatever. There you go. March 22nd.
I'm in.
They have officially started filming Return to Silent Hill, which is going to be a adaptation of Silent Hill 2.
What if they stopped filming?
I don't think they will, but
that's a shame.
Can you just pass that on to them that they should stop?
Yeah, I will.
Just like a little note handwritten that says stop.
Kit requested that you stop, please.
Then I saw that they're making a sequel to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, in which Harley Quinn will be played by Lady Gaga.
Where the fuck have you been? That news story came out
no idea
6 months ago.
Well, it's on my feed today.
Apparently a musical sequel.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I vaguely remember talking about this.
Sure, it's not gonna be good.
Tried to block it out.
I think honestly, yeah. I heard musical and I was like, I don't need this information anymore.
I never watched the first one. Probably not gonna watch this one.
No, I didn't either. Probably not, no.
I only care about Jared Leto Joker.
No.
The Jerker.
Everyone knows Jared Leto has only ever done one good role, and it was as the vampire Dr. Morbius.
Dr. Morbius? The Jerker.
That's what they should call it. They should have the fact that Batman has never called the Joker that, just
literally.
Was that it?
Yes.
Kit, what'd you watch this week?
So much dog shit. Let's see. Best movie I watched was Shakma, a 1990s killer baboon film, which is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
But before that, what made me watch Shakma was that I watched a movie called Blood Monkey, which is kind of miraculous because they found a way to make the film Congo worse and more fucking boring. Unfathomable to me. It was called Blood Monkey. It had F. Murray Abraham. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll watch this. Awful. Dog shit.
I feel like killer monkey movies fall into either it's perfect or it's the worst thing you've ever seen. Or the most boring thing you've ever seen, I guess.
Yeah, there's no killer monkey in Blood Monkey. Oh my god. Just like Congo. God damn it. Hate both of those movies.
I haven't seen Congo since it came out, and I refuse to ever watch it again.
It sucks so much worse than you remember.
I
remember liking it as a kid, and every time I've watched it since is I hate this more than the last time I watched it. Nothing happens.
I feel like I saw that in a theater when it came out.
Congo?
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
I have
Bruce Campbell, only good part.
I have a just sort of weird memory of being in a theater seeing it, but that's the last time I watched it, and I just remember being like, this is terrible, as a fucking 10-year-old or something.
Yeah. Then I watched Proteus, which is based on the novel Slimer by the same dude who wrote Carnosaur.
Better be about
Ghostbusters. Fucking banger of a novel, terrible film, in which they decided that the horrible rapist guy in the novel who fucks someone to death should be the hero in the film for some reason.
Any of those things.
It's the most confounding movie decision I've ever seen. But they decided he would also be a cop, which makes perfect sense.
Oh, okay.
That checks out.
All right, fair, yeah.
Then I watched Nomads, I think the directorial debut by John McTiernan. Very strange film. But it has Pierce Brosnan with a horrible French accent and looking extremely cool.
You
and
sold.
Yeah, Ted Nugent does all of the music for some reason.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was super odd. 1986. Then I watched Rats from the gentleman who directed, oh, what was it? I saw it and was like, oh, hey, this guy did this.
He did like a bunch of Italian things. I just don't remember. I can't remember who the director was.
Mansquito, The Gate 1 and 2, Ice Spiders, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Sabrina Goes to Rome. Mega Snake
career. Oh,
yeah. So yeah, it's awful, but I enjoyed it still. It's got Ron Perlman. It's got horrible CG rats flying through the air.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Rats Night of Terror.
Yes, a very, very different film
I was like,
to Rats 2003.
I was like, I don't remember Bruno Mattei or Claudio Fragazzo directing any Sabrina.
Oh my!
We're putting Ron Perlman in a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look up just Rats, there's like
30 movies called Rats.
And a movie called Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy that is apparently also called Rats.
Why not?
Yeah, hell.
Not one of them, a musical knockoff of Cats. Very sad.
What about you, Katie?
Let's see. I rewatched both Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp leading up to, obviously, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which you can hear me talk about later. I then also watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, which I was not interested in at all, but I decided to watch it just because I was having, watched all that other stuff, and it's so good.
Yeah, it's
amazing. Then I watched Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which I expected to not like at all, and is not bad. There's a lot of really cool stuff in it. I don't know.
Look, I'm just gonna say Namor, just super hot. Winston Duke.
I was gonna say
Black
could
Panther.
get it. Overall, I really liked it. I liked a lot of the stuff they did in it. I just felt like there was just too much going on.
I need,
if that makes sense.
One scene of Winston Duke as M'Baku and Namor fighting shirtless, and then they kiss each other.
So anyways, it was a lot better than I expected, and so I'm glad I watched it. And then I watched Eternals, which was obviously a Marvel movie, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I have no critiques.
Well, we'll talk about it in the bonus episode, I'm sure.
We will.
There's some editing shit in that movie that I'm kind of like, well, this just seems a little sloppy, but like story wise, I'm fully on board with that movie.
Very cool. We'll talk about it more later. But I loved it. And then I watched. It went downhill really fast because then I watched a Albert Pyun movie called Arcade.
I'm in.
From 1993. It was just not great. It just wasn't my favorite. It was really baffling. I think you might like it. You know what really was baffling about this movie to me is like I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, Seth Green is in it, first of all. And I'm like, why does this guy seem so familiar? It is Peter Billingsley, who plays Ralphie in A Christmas Story. And he's like in this as a teenager. And it was just baffling to me. Basically the movie is about like people who are playing like a virtual reality game, and then somebody gets like kidnapped by it or whatever, and then the main character has to like go in, and there's just so much weird stuff about it. I think you would like it. I personally did not like it. And then I watched Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumanium, obviously, and then I watched The Greenskeeper. Blech. And then I watched a movie called Oxhead Village. Also not good. It's by the director that did The Grudge, and I keep watching his movies, and I just keep not liking them. So, I'm sorry. I don't know what was happening in it. It was so very confusing. But I was trying to watch something on, what's it called? Shoutbox.
Oh yeah, Screambox.
Screambox. And they have like a pretty interesting like selection of like Japanese horror, so I just like picked that one. There's like some interesting ideas in it, but it just made no sense to me, so I did not like it.
Sounds like typical J horror to me. I mostly just rewatched a bunch of shit this week. So I rewatched all the Jackass movies, the Alien franchise. I watched a movie called Robot Ninja last night.
Great.
That fucking rocks. I watched it on YouTube, but I guess it's on Tubi and Plex as well if people would like to watch it. But it's about this guy who like becomes obsessed with a Batman 66 type superhero called Robot Ninja and decides to just become a robot ninja himself and go out and like fight a gang of rapists.
Oh.
And it's like, it looks goofy because the poster is extremely goofy, but like it's extremely gory. Somebody gets like killed by having like the barrel of a gun jammed into their eye socket to the point that like the prosthetic head just smashes down and it looks terrible, but it rules. But then they like shoot from inside the dude's head. I don't know. It kind of rocked. I was expecting it to just be like this like shitty like SOV movie, and it was surprisingly pretty good. I watched The Incredibles, Wall-E, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids at Caitlin's nephew's house. And then I've just at work been working my way through Quentin Tarantino's filmography because I haven't seen anything post Inglourious Bastards, I think. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna rewatch all of it, and I made it through Jackie Brown. This is the last one I watched. So Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, 4 Rooms at Jackie Brown. All bangers. 4 Rooms. I know, like, you know, it's like a sort of anthology, I guess, but that movie rocks. The Tim Roth cutting the fucking finger off at the end. It's perfect. I think that's it. I also went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but Katie and I are going to talk about that in a bonus episode. Alright, shout-outs. Kit.
True Detective Season 2. Get on board. This is revisionism time, alright?
Yeah.
It was great. Everyone loved it.
You can change history.
I'm
going to.
Give it like 5 years and that's going to be the new.
People are going to realize. I've been on this train since episode 1, but everyone's going to come around.
Wait, is it different detectives every season?
Yeah, isn't it like a different story each season? Sort of like American Horror Story kind of thing. Except, I guess, maybe a different cast. So not like American Horror Story.
Well, no, yeah, but it, yeah, okay. I like, honestly, I think the reason I didn't watch it, see, I thought it was the same, like, I thought that there was, like, I knew there was other detectives, but I thought they were just, like, guest detectives, and I thought, isn't it Matthew McConaughey in the first one?
Yep.
Yeah, and,
which is why I didn't
Woody
watch.
Harrelson.
Oh, I definitely, maybe I'll watch it then. I thought it was Matthew McConaughey. Anyways, yeah.
Katie, what's your shout out?
Oh, my shout out is that Doritos came out with a new flavor that is sweet and tangy barbecue, and it is so good.
Rude.
Doritos. Why? You
Because,
can't eat them?
Yeah, them and Pringles put fucking dairy in everything for some reason. I think the only Doritos that don't have anything are like the sweet chili ones, are like the only ones that are like accidentally vegan.
I don't like those. I did also try the cheesesteak Pringles, and they don't really taste like cheesesteak, but
I got 2 only because one of them, by the time this comes out, it will not be available anymore. But Rough Cut, the shirt printing company, released a joke picture of the Demons logo with Garfield on it that says "I hate Mondays, but I lust for flesh," and then people reacted to it so well that they released they're releasing a shirt for 48 hours that I immediately bought. And then go listen to the band Hella. I've been listening to them a bunch this week, and their instrumental stuff especially very good. Just Zach Hill never stopping, just smashing all of the drums all the time. That's great. All right, so next week found a better movie. We're not doing Wrestle Massacre. We're gonna do Rabid Grannies.
Oh no.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's on YouTube, so we could do it for free. And it's a movie I've seen once when Troma released it, but I haven't seen it since, and I'm very excited to rewatch it. It's got a pretty perfect plot description. A large family gathers in the countryside of their 2 grand... God damn it, I need to learn how to read. A large family gathers in the countryside for their 2 grannies' birthdays. It's too bad one of the gifts happens to be from their devil-worshipping nephew, and upon opening it, the 2 lovable grannies turn into rabid, flesh-eating monsters.
What?
Amazing.
I also like that on Letterboxd. Oh, is this like a foreign movie? Oh yeah, this is okay. That makes sense. I didn't like it has like the French like title under it.
Les Memes Penibales.
Hell yeah, this is gonna rock. I'm very excited to rewatch this.
I doubt it, but
all right, that's next week. Hooch eating. What's happening over there?
He's got his bone.
Oh.
He's under my chair with his bone.
Yeah. Get it, Hooch. If you'd like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Katie and I recording an episode tomorrow as of when we're recording this on the new Ant-Man. I'm just going to talk about how good Jonathan Majors looks in the Creed trailer. I'm very on board with fucking Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan punching each other a bunch. Movie. I have not seen any of the Creed movies, and I've seen like a Rocky movie, but I'm about to watch Creed 3.
I have such a hard time with boxing stuff.
Yeah, I forget. I think I saw the Rocky with Dolph Lundgren. I think it's the only one I've seen.
It's the best one.
I think. I know I've seen like clips for. Obviously, it's like hard to like not get a bunch of those from like culture osmosis, but
yeah.
I forget. Oh yeah, Patreon. You can leave us a review on iTunes and Spotify and all that shit. Buy merch at our storefront tier. Go buy our My Chemical Romance Morbius shirt.
I was going to say like our very first non-skateboard shirt, but then I forgot about the Soda Talk shirt. So if you don't like skateboarding for some reason and you want to buy our merch, you have 2 options: Soda Talk and more and or if you want to let people know that you got the Morbs, which who doesn't?
Yeah, everybody in this day and age has the Morbs.
I mean, honestly,
what a fucking weird thing to exist. You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kid at Hidden Kitstery and Kitrification of Blood. Go look at Warhammer figures.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not plugging your Instagram.
Please.
You can follow Katie at Werewolf Face and join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. Get you some King of the Hill stickers. I got mine
I'm
today.
your little candy man.
You can listen to my other podcast named K Movie Club. Go watch Rabbit Grannies. It's free on YouTube. You got no excuse. Go watch True Detective Season 2.
Yeah.
Also, I'm assuming free on YouTube, probably.
Sure, why not? I'm sure HBO's fucking dumped it somewhere.
Yeah, HBO just for some reason got rid of just Season 2.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you get your balls crushed in a ball washing thing, but why?
I don't hope for that at all.
I hope you get your Yeezys shoved up your ass, but why?